In this video, we are going to learn about the differences between the copy and cut functions, how to quickly fill your spreadsheets, and lastly, how to copy and paste rows and columns. So first, as most of you already know, the copy function simply copies your dataset to your desired destination. So there are now the same dataset on the bottom of your spreadsheet. On the other hand, the cut function and then the paste function, as you are seeing, simply cuts off your part of your dataset and pastes it to your destination. However, the difference is very important when it's in links. So let's say that you have linked your revenue 22.4 to the bottom of your spreadsheet. Copy and paste, Control C and Control V. The consequences are that it directly links to your adjacent cells. So you can just simply use Control C and Control V to fill your entire data sets, and this would be correct as long as the orders are in the same order. But on the other hand, if you use Control X, the cut function, Control X and Control V, opposed to what Control C, Control V did, now it's linking to the original cell that you have designated. So it's completely different. Control C and Control V, the results are going to be 23.4. It links to your cell right above. But on the other hand, Control X and Control V, the result will be 22.4, linking to the original cells. So that's a major difference, and a difference that you should always distinguish. Of course, Control X is rarely used, compared to Control C and Control V, but still, there are some situations that could come in handy if you utilize it correctly. And as you've seen before, Control C and Control V can also, fill your desired part on your datasets. But a quicker way to do so, to fill your spreadsheet to the right, would be simply pressing Control R. So Control R is for control to the right. And it just simply pushes your links to the right. The consequences are same with Control C and Control V. The reason why I'm sending out this information is because Control R is one of the most frequently used shortcuts when it comes to financial modeling. And of course you can use Control C and Control V, but Control R simply is much more efficient when it comes to the number of times you have to press your keyboard. So Control R. And when you're filling your data to the bottom, the shortcuts would be Control D. D is for down. So Control R, Control D would simply be a very handy shortcut that you'll use very often. Unfortunately, Microsoft Excel did not build shortcuts for moving to your left. Let's say that we linked 2021 data first, and then we want to send it to the left. Unfortunately, Control L does not exist. So if you want to move to your left, you have to use the Control C, Control V functions, and that would do the trick. And also, similarly, Microsoft Excel did not designate a shortcut to filling to your upper cells. So Control U does not exist. If you want to move to your top, Control C and Control V is going to get you to your desired results. So I'm going to fill this entire sheet using Control. Let's start with the linking. I'm going to link this cell to 2017 revenues. I'm going to fill to the right, Control R, and then I'm going to fill to the bottom, Control D. And don't worry about the formatting. We'll be dealing with how to format the cells quickly in our next lecture or our next lecture. And lastly, about copying and pasting your entire rows and columns. Let's say, for example, let's say you want to move your unusual items within EBIT and EBT. So how you would do this is that you would press Shift Space, as we learned, to select the entire rows, Control C, and then Control Plus. So Control Plus was used at our first session to insert rows. In this case, if you copy first and then use Control Plus, it's going to create a line in between and squeeze your copied rows in between these two data sets. On the other hand, as you probably already understood, Shift Space Control X, if you copy this data set and then plus Control Plus, it's going to cut off your rows and then copy it in between. And another way that you can copy your entire row is to select the entire row, Shift Space, Control C, and then Control V will also copy your entire rows and paste it. But the difference is that it pastes over the data set that you have selected. So Shift Space Control C and then Control V. As soon as you do this, the investment expense row would be just pasted over, so it would be deleted as a result. So we rarely use Control C, Control V. Most of the time we use Control C and then Control Plus to squeeze the data sets in between. This goes the same for columns as well. If you want to select the entire columns, Control C, Control Space, Control C, and then if you move to the right and press Control Plus, the entire column would just squeeze in between, and there will be a identical data set to your right. So these functions are going to be used extremely often in our future financial modeling classes. So we recommend you that you really get used to the concepts and the shortcuts as well.